Hey guys, Sheldon's here from Appalachian DIY, and today I'm going to explain to you guys how to purchase a vehicle in New York State when you're from out of state. Alright guys, before we get started, I want to tell you guys who this video is for. And it's for private party sales with title in hand only. We're not going to be dealing with liens on the title. You got to deal with the bank. We're not dealing with that. And we're not dealing with any type of dealerships. They're going to do all of their paperwork there. So it's private party sales, title in hand, Facebook, Craigslist, that kind of social medium. So this entire process can be a little overwhelming. You got to jump through a lot of hoops to do this. So there will be a little secret at the end of the video on how to avoid all of this. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Basically what we're trying to do is get an in-transit permit to drive the vehicle that we're purchasing in New York State back home, whatever state you live in. The very first thing you're going to need to do is get insurance on it. And this kind of sucks because you must purchase insurance on the vehicle that you may or may not get, right? You're going to go there and make your end decision whether you want to buy the vehicle, but before you do that, you need to purchase insurance on it. So talk to your insurance guy, kind of tell him what's going on. I really don't know how that works if you don't end up buying the vehicle, if they can just reimburse you the money. I ended up buying my vehicle, so I didn't get into that type of situation. When you get your insurance, it is crucial that you get an insurance binder. You must have that. It must say that in the header of your paperwork for your insurance. I went to the New York DMV with a insurance card, right? If police pulls you over, you show them that. That's cool. That is not okay for the New York DMV. It must say insurance binder. And all an insurance binder is a breakdown of all of your insurance coverages, right? Liability, underinsured motorist, all the premiums and stuff that you're paying. All it is a list, breakdown list of everything that you guys have on your policy. They want to see that breakdown, and they also need to see that insurance binder in the header. I had an application that I had signed and they approved. They did not accept that either. It was a breakdown of it, but it had to say insurance binder. So that's extremely important, guys. Make sure you have that. I ended up having to wait at the DMV for about 30 minutes before my insurance guy could get it faxed back and all this crazy stuff. So make sure you have that. The second thing you're going to need to do is you're going to make a DMV reservation. New York State is requiring that you make a reservation for any time you enter their facilities to do any type of paperwork. We went up to the Albany, New York DMV, and there was actually security guards at the front door requesting to see your reservation. You can either print it out or have it right on your phone. Once you show them that, then you're cool to go in. But you must have that set up beforehand. The third thing that you need to do is get your bill of sale set up. There's a whole bunch of templates online that will help you kind of fill it out. But there's certain things that it needs. The first being it needs to have the vehicle VIN on there, make and model, your purchase price, and a place for the buyer and seller to sign and date. It must have all of those things. Here's a little tip though. Don't put the exact price you're going to pay for it. Leave just a blank line so you can handwrite it in. I went up to New York. There was a vehicle I was purchasing, and it was a little bit in rough shape when I got there. It was in a lot more rough shape than I thought it was going to be. So we ended up renegotiating the price that I was going to pay for it. The only problem with that was I had my bill of sale completely printed out, right? So what I ended up doing is when I got it back home, I had to pay sales tax on the price that was printed on the bill of sale. If I had let that blank, I could have just simply wrote it in. Both of you are signing it and agreeing to it, so that's perfectly fine just to write it in. So make sure you do that, especially if you're going up and getting a fixer-upper. You may renegotiate. It may have a dent in it, or the tires aren't quite up to par what you thought they were in the photos, and renegotiate. That's a way that you're able to do that on your bill of sale. So these are 3 things: your insurance binder, the DMV reservation, and your bill of sale. These are 3 things that you need to do before you even head out the door to go pick up your vehicle in New York. Once you're in New York at the place, you're going to sign your bill of sale, and then you're going to sign your title. I'll show you guys what a New York title looks like right here. This is the front, and then right here is the back. So New York State makes this super simple. I love their titles. Right here on the back in section 1, there is a place for the seller to sign, print his name, and put his street address down there. And then right below that, that's where you're going to sign as the buyer. Print, sign, and put your street address that's on your driver's license. So you're going to fill out the back of the title. And what that is it's proof of ownership, right? The seller is rescinding his ownership to you. You are taking on ownership of that vehicle at that point. So make sure all of the money, bill of sale, that's all finalized, and then sign off on your title, because that's final then. The DMV requires that as proof of ownership. That's a critical point there. So once all of that is signed, go and head off to your local DMV. Once you're there, show your reservation to get in the door, take a number, have a seat. It actually didn't take too long. I was kind of surprised. It took about 5 minutes. You head up to the window. There's going to be some things that they ask you for. Number 1 is your identification. This is simply your driver's license. You don't need 2 forms or anything like that, just 1 form. You can do a learner's permit if you want, and there's a couple other things, but you must be at least 16 years old to do this transaction. Once they get your ID, you're going to need to actually purchase the in-transit permit. That's what we're after. The payment for that is $12.50. You can use debit cards, credit cards. I do believe they take cash and check, but everybody's got a card, so that's simple enough. Once all of that is paid for, they are going to issue you a temporary registration. It's a pink slip, and then this is your in-transit permit. You're just going to take that and put it in the back window of your vehicle. That pink permit is if you get pulled over. Cop pulls you over, you can show them that, and then that legally allows you, and the vehicle's registered, to be able to drive on the road then. Without that, you're going to end up incurring a fine. The main reason for that is you're not going to end up having a license plate on the back of your vehicle. So this in-transit permit is in lieu of that, so make sure it's visible. The vehicle that we bought, it was not, there was no way to see out the back window, so we just put it on the front dash. So basically after that, you're just going to go ahead and drive home, and once in your home state, you're just going to take all of your title transfers, your registration in your home state, and then you're clear and free. This can be a little bit of a headache, jumping through all of these hoops, getting all this paperwork set up. And the way to get around it is to trailer your vehicle home. If you trailer your vehicle home, you don't need insurance on the vehicle. You don't need an in-transit permit because it's being towed, right? You can even get a car dolly if you want to. For insurance-wise, most insurances, your primary vehicle that you're towing with covers whatever you're towing. Now, of course, if you're towing a Lamborghini home, I would probably get insurance on that, but for your Joe Schmo car that you're paying cash for, I think you guys will be just fine. So it can be a little bit of hassle jumping through all these hoops, but for us, we ended up buying a dump truck in New York, and we didn't have a trailer big enough or one available at the time to trailer it home, so we ended up having to drive it, so we ended up having to do all this. Once you get all your stuff set up, it's not as bad as it may seem. It just takes a little bit of planning on your part, especially for the DMV reservation, make sure you guys are setting up enough time to actually test drive the vehicle, to look it over, and then drive to your DMV, making sure it's still within operating hours, it's still open to do all of your paperwork. Give yourself about a half an hour for that. So logistics-wise, it can be a little bit of a pain, but for us, we couldn't find a dump truck at the time that was within our price range, so we went up to New York and bought the one that we did. The dump truck that we bought definitely needs a little bit of work, so we're up going to be doing a series on getting that thing back in shape and working order, so make sure you go ahead and check that out. I hope this helps you out, guys. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button and head over to Appalachian DIY for more videos. Thanks again, guys, and I hope to see you next time.